Hey everyone, and welcome to my craft room. Just bear with me for a minute while I get my iPad to catch up with where I am. Very rainy, cold day here in Tassie, so forgive the light. The light might not be very good in my craft room, but we know that turning the light on just makes horrible shadows. So yeah, so hope everyone's having a lovely day so far and a lovely weekend. Hi Kathy, thanks for watching. Only a quickie today, just let me get my iPad right, just put it on mute. Yeah, so I'll just share this, bear with me for a minute. Cool, okay, so let's get started. Just a quick video from me today. Things have been really busy in my Etsy store. Which is great because people have finally realised it's Christmas and they need to get in and buy their cards from me for Christmas, which is really good. So that's probably why I actually decided to show you this this card. It is a great day for card making, that's definitely true. Yeah, so I basically decided to show you this card. These cards, it's basically a little set of 6 cards because they are very popular in my store, and if you're anything like me, you use a tiny slither of your favourite paper and then find that you pop it in a folder and forget about it, so it's a bit of a waste. So why I love these one sheet wonders, especially for my online store, is that there's no waste and you can really get the value of the paper. So anyway, I'll just start. Sit myself down. My iPad may run out of juice eventually, so if I lose everyone, thanks for joining. I've got 2 Kathys on today. Hello Kathy and Kathy. So anyway, there's my host code for November, just there on the screen. I've got a couple of special offers on at the moment if you use that host code and purchase either products from the Snowflake Showcase, which is only available for November, or if you order over $100, I've got some special deals there. So I might just bring that one back in. I'll move it out at the moment and bring it back in later, so you can notice. So the paper I'm going to use today is this pretty double-sided one from the Joyous Noel series paper that's it's available at the moment. It's when you do a one sheet wonder, you have to sort of make sure that you like both sides of the paper together. So you can see this one's got some beautiful Merry Merlot stripes on one side, and it picks up the little berries on the other side here. So I quite like that, and it's got some gold as well, which is always good for Christmas cards. So what I do, you often find these one sheet wonder templates in Pinterest and things like that. I find that a lot of them try to get too many cards out of one sheet and you end up with lots of blank space and not much paper. This one you're going to get 6 cards out of this one, which is nice, and that's actually how I sell them on my online store, in batches of 6. So and they have a lovely theme to them as well. I'll show you a set that I've made more recently. I'll pop the template for this particular cut on my page and on my blog, so if you don't get, it's very simple, but if you don't get it, you can always refer to that later. So this is the paper I'm going to be cutting, so I'll just bring in my cutter. Let's make sure, I don't know how that's going to react to that. So anyway, this particular cut, as I say, you're going to get 6 cards, and they're fundamentally our normal like 4x6 card. You basically are you'll use the whole sheet on those 6 cards. So what I do first of all is I cut the sheet twice, basically in half. But I've got to be careful with this one because it's got this nice line. So I want to make sure that when I get the lines that they're running up and down on the card, not side by side. So I'm just going to cut this one. So cut it at 5.5 inches. That's your first cut, and then cut it again at 5.5 inches. So since this is a 12 by 12 sheet, you're basically going to have an inch at the end. That is practically the only wastage in this piece of paper, so that's really good. And you know, you could use that, I don't know, you could use it in something. I might chuck the bit out. So you've got 2 panels, 5.5 by 12. Then what you do is you cut each of these to 4 inches. And you can see where I'm going already. You've got 4 inches. So that's, you've got 3 panels of 4 inches each. And when you do it to the second one, forgive my cutting blade, I need to order some more. I'm going to cut these from the top, from the bottom up. Keep in mind with your cutting blades on your cutter that they have 2 ways you can cut. So if you're finding it's getting a bit blunt from top down or bottom up, whichever way is your natural way, just swap it over and you'll get double the life out of your blade. So there we are. They're a lot better because obviously I go top to bottom when I cut. Okay, so we've got 6 panels of 4 inches by 5.5 each. Okay, so now the fun begins. You actually start cutting these up. So 2 panels, you actually cut them in half. So half of 5.5 is 2 3/4. So you just basically cut them, oh, move it up a bit, cut them smack bang in half. Top to bottom, Julian. Yeah. In half. And in half again. So 2 3/4 in half. So you flip that one over and you can see you're going to get a lovely contrast in your cards. That's basically 1 card there and 1 card there. Okay, so that's there. Cool, so pop those aside. The next 2, you basically cut them diagonally. You have to be a little bit careful with this one and I'll explain why. So what I do is I line up the top corner and the bottom corner of the first one in the groove of my cutter, and then start from the middle and out and then up. Now the reason I do that is because the corner with this particular trimmer, it's not going to take the corner, so if you cut from the centre out, you get that nice sharp corner there, and the other end cuts quite well. Okay, so you've got 2 triangles there, 2 right angle triangles. We want to do this other one, but we want to actually do it with the other face up. Now if I cut that like that, I'm not going to be able to alternate it because I'll end up with just 4 Merlot panels facing up. So if I turn this over and cut it, and I've got to do this right because I do it wrong and waste the paper, you want to cut it on that angle there. We'll soon tell if I've done it right. Okay, so this card, this one, you're going to have that and that. So you have a diagonal break on those. So that's our third and fourth card. And on this last one, I really like it. For some reason, this card is my favourite on this card. So we've got 4 inches wide. If you take it to 2.5 and cut there, you end up with a narrow panel and a broad panel. And that is the effect you get when you put it on the card. So I like that. For some reason, that really appeals. My slightly off-centre brain obviously likes that one. What did I say? 2.5? Yeah, 2.5. Don't concentrate or I'm going to make a boo-boo. So there. So there's your 5th and 6th cards there. I've already cut myself some card bases just in Whisper White. So that's a 4 1/8 by 5 3/4 card base there. So these pieces of paper will fit on there nicely with a bit of a white border around them. So I might actually just, because we've got 3 lots of cards that what have I got? Cards that basically match. I'll just assemble 3 and you'll get the picture because the other 3 are fundamentally the same. So I'll do that one, and I'll do that one, and I'll do that one. do the rest of those later. As I say, I'm trying to be careful with these because I want to pop them in my store. Now, remember, guys, if you do sell Stampin' Up products that you make with, if you sell cards that you make with Stampin' Up products, you have to use under the Angel policy, you have to put a copyright stamp on them. So if you haven't got a copyright stamp, they're available on assorted, various stamp sets have them. This one here is the Crafting Forever one, and it actually has the little copyright Stampin' Up stamp on it. So if you're going to go into markets and things like that, or online to sell your cards, make sure you grab that, because otherwise you're gonna you could have trouble with some copyright issues. Anyway, okay, so what I'll do is I'll just move my trimmer, and I'll get some Tombow, and we'll start making these cards. I mean, as much as I love the paper, it's what you do with it, what you then do with it, that makes it special. Trying not to get glue everywhere. Who's joined us? We've got Hannah. Oh, hi, Hannah. How are you? What's the weather like in Melbourne? It's a bit yucky down here. Mum could probably already tell you that. Sorry, Kathy, I'll read your. Didn't know that stamp set had it. Yeah, so it does. There's a couple that have it. I think actually, if you look in the catalogue, I think they have a little Angel policy stamp on them. A little bit, a little tag on it. I hadn't noticed this morning, so I think there's a few that have the thing. I have to be very careful because I do sell a lot of my cards online. Sort of what pays for the craft supplies. And since it's what I love. Anyway, so I'll pop that one on there. So we have got a little bit of a gap in the middle there, but I think that's quite nice. And because we actually cut our paper a little bit smaller, I quite like that little border. Tell me if I work my way too far up the screen, guys, because I notice I'm doing it. Okay, so that's our first one. Yeah, and you'll see how I decorate that one soon. So that's our first basic card. Second one, we'll do this triangle one. I think I really like those colours together. I don't know about you guys, but I think the little berries and the Merry Merlot is really something special. So we've got our triangle. With this triangle, so take your glue up as far to the corner as you possibly can. Double-sided tape might be good with this corner, but I'll get my glue up there. Make sure I've got them the right way around. Yep. Nothing worse than having a triangle on and then realising you've put it around the wrong way. So that's that one. So when you put these in a little set of 6, they've got the same theme running through them, but they are slightly different. I mean, the pair to this one will have the Merry Merlot on the bottom and the flower, the gold embossed paper at the top. So they're similar but different. Pop this one on there. Get our same little gap all around the edge. It's quite nice. Make sure it's even. I don't know if anyone who's watching basically saw my post yesterday. I had a lady make an order for a card, and I have to keep reminding myself that the customer's always right, but I made this card to her specifications and I looked at it and I thought, oh my God, that's the weirdest card I've ever made. And I posted a picture to her on the site, and she came back and she said, oh my goodness, I love it. And I thought, oh well, you never can tell. But everyone has different tastes, thankfully. So anyway, she was paying for it, so I thought, well, you can have what you want. Just goes to show everyone's different. Okay, so this one I'm going to put now I've got to remember, put the big panel towards the opening. Don't suppose it really matters, but I just want to be consistent. Move that one, wiggle it around a bit. Thank heaven for Tombow, it moves. And then this one, and that's all the gluing I'll do. I'll leave the rest to your imagination. You can see basically where it's going with this. And that's there. So this Joyous Noel paper is absolutely glorious. It has a lot of gold accents to it, which is really nice. And it's in the holiday catalogue, so that's only available to the end of the year. So the 2nd of January, I think that one stops. So if you like that one and you want to grab some, maybe for next year's Christmas cards, do so as soon as you can. So that's the 3 basic designs of this one sheet wonder. As you can see, I would have the second one, I would put the berries at the top and the Merlot at the bottom. And the other one would have the, got to get this right, would have it that way, so it would be slightly different to the original. And then the other one would have the broad panel of Merlot and that. But if you found that you didn't like that, I mean, that one there with the Merlot with the panel, I don't know that I like that combination quite as much. I could probably just do it the same as the other one without too much problems. Okay, so that's going to get sort of 6 along the theme of something very similar to that. So how I've decorated these, and I won't bore you with all the cutting out on the on my Big Shot. I decorate them fairly consistently, and here's one. This is another sheet of paper very similar from the Joyous Noel set, and I do them fairly consistently. So I think people, the last set that I sold online, the lady bought all of them, and I think she liked the fact that they were consistent, running with a theme. Now these beautiful snowflakes are from the I've lost it. Are from the Snowfall Thinlits dies. Now this is part of the Snowflake Showcase, and if you've been putting off buying this, don't, because it's only available till the end of the month, and then it's gone. And to be honest, I think it'll be one that you'll use all year round, not just Christmas. We have the snowflakes, of course, but we also have some really lovely flowers, which I have been using in some of the other cards that I've been doing. Some really nice flowers, some little leaves, and there's a little sprig there as well. So it's not just a Christmas one. I think that big one there, even though you pair it with snowflakes, makes it look like a snowflake, you could quite as easily pair it with flowers and just give it a big 3D flower effect. So as I say, this one is only available to the end of the month, so so grab it. If you were putting it off, don't put it off any longer. So yes, because it will be gone, and it's really an all year round set. So anyway, I've used the snowflakes out of that, saying that, and I've basically cut, so this one has it has the gold, it has the white, but it's actually a Tranquil Tide theme going through it. So what I've actually done, and I've got 3 here that I haven't decorated yet, so I'll do those. So what I've basically done is, for this one with the sideways, I've actually cut the big snowflake out of white. There's a middle-sized snowflake in there, which I hope you can see if I come close enough, in a smaller snowflake, and then topped with a gold, just for something special. So, and because it's too nice to stamp on front, I've actually just stamped Merry Christmas inside, just so people can do their own thing. So that's the first one. The second one, with the cross, I've actually just popped a smaller snowflake in there. So it's the middle snowflake this time that's in white, a smaller one in Tranquil Tide, and the top one in gold. And the last one I've just spruced up with a little bit of this beautiful metallic trim ribbon. So we've got a little piece of that there, and I've got a scalloped square of Tranquil Tide, a slightly smaller square. Did I say square? I said square. Circle of Tranquil Tide, a smaller circle in Whisper White, and a beautiful gold snowflake on the top there. So I'll just pop those together for you now, just so you can see how to do it. So I've got them all in here. Don't say I'm not prepared. So this one I've actually done slightly different. You see the top and bottom aren't exactly the same. So I did that slightly different, but I think I actually like it better the way I've done this one. with them the same top and bottom. So to put all these together, I'm going to use a combination of liquid glue and glue dots. So just bear with me while I work out which way I was going to go. So this one, I'm going to use a little bit of liquid glue. Just move those cards to the side. A little bit of liquid glue, just very, very, very lightly. If it'll ever come out. Come out. Oh, there we are. Very lightly. Just you don't want too much because, well, they don't have to stand up the test of time, really. They are cards. And attach that one. Now, the good thing with this Big Shot set... Oh, hi, Chrissy. Thanks for joining me. How are you feeling? Oh, and Pamela, hi. And Kay, wow, everyone's here. Hi. Hi, everyone. Just decorating my cards now, so for the cutting, you probably need to watch the replay or whatever. So I'm just basically lining up my snowflake here. Now, if you line up one axis, you can be pretty sure that the rest of the axes are all lined up too. That's the beauty of the fact that this is it's a coordinated set, so they fit in with each other pretty special, pretty perfectly. So this gold one, I'm actually going to pop that on a glue dot. Too much glue, end up in a terrible mess. I'm going to use a glue dot, pop that on that central little part there and attach it. And again, lining things up so that they are perfectly central. There we go. Look, so this snowflake I think is absolutely beautiful. I don't really think it needs anything else. You just pop it there on the centre. You could line it up with the split, but I probably like it more central, so I'll take it up a tiny bit there. So attach that with some glue. Hey Wendy, good morning. How's everybody's Sunday? I've got groceries to do and back to work tomorrow, so it's all a bit hectic here at the moment. Okay, so there we go. That's our first one. Make sure I've put it the right way. So that's our first one there in our set. Now the second, I'll do this one next. So this is the one that I had the ribbon on. So I'll just grab a piece of ribbon. It's this beautiful gold metallic edge ribbon, which is to die for, I think. I just cut myself a little piece. I'll trim it down to the right size eventually. It's sort of guesstimate. Sort of about there. And then I've done it sort of like a little, sort of like one of those, almost like a heart ribbon. You know how that sort of has that sort of hood, almost hood at the top there. I've cut that at the wrong angle, so I'll cut that there. Just sort of lay that on the cards, just make sure I've got the right sort of height. Yeah, I think so. Then I'll grab out what I've already cut. So obviously, as we recapped, we had the gold snowflake, the white circle and the scalloped circle in the tranquil tide. Just attach all those. A little bit of glue. My iPad's about to die, guys, so anyway, it's all good. That's good, Chrissy. I'm glad to hear you coming well, love. It's a big thing you've been through. Anyway, so that's our circle there, and I'll just attach the gold, a tiny bit of glue. I sort of like the fact that our snowflakes sort of stick up at the edge a little bit, so I just sort of put glue in strategic spots. Hope I haven't moved off the camera. Just put sort of glue on strategic spots all around it so that it still sort of sits up a little bit. And I'll central that in my circle. It's going to overlap a tiny bit, but I like that as well. I think it sort of gives it a bit of interest. Just put that down. Okay, so we've got that made. Bring up a card back in. So I'm going to put this one on up with dimensionals. So just put a few of those around. Now, when you've got the ribbon, obviously you're going to have to put a few more dimensionals on it than you would normally do, because you need to attach your ribbon as well as your circle. Oh, hello Donna, how are you? Thanks for joining. I'm nearly finished now, but the replay will be online soon. Yes, we don't usually, yes, you're here live, we don't usually cross. You're either busy with your work or doing one yourself. I'm getting very excited about New Zealand, guys. I so hope that we get to go. I so hope that registration comes our way. I did notice they sent a survey. Did everyone else get that survey about who wants to go to New Zealand? I thought, oh, please, please, please make the venue big enough so we can all be, you know, that we can, everyone who wants to go gets a chance. Anyway, so there, I've got my ribbon there. I'm just sort of putting it there gently with one hand, sort of lining it up as central as I can. Then I'll line up my snowflake. So I'm lining up my snowflake so the top and bottom of it point in the direction of that, the break in my two colours, she says, with her finger sticking to her card. And I'll just press that down. So that's the second one. So that's quite sweet as well. I actually have that ribbon a little bit high. I might fix that. Probably bring that top of that ribbon down a little bit so it's got a little bit more down there. So, but anyway, I'll fix that. It's easy enough done with the dimensionals. So there's our second one. And the third one is just mega easy. It's just a smaller snowflake in that top corner. So I've actually chosen in both of them to put the snowflake on the darker side because I think that first snowflake sits out really well. Yep, I will be sitting on my computer. I think I work that day, but they won't be getting any work out of me for at least a little while. It's 9 o'clock, isn't it? Yeah, that's fine. I'll pretend I'm having my first coffee of the day and sit there until I get on. Okay, so I'll just, I think I'll use glue dots on this one. If I can find them, here they are. So I'll just use glue dots on this one to put it together. I love glue dots. If you guys haven't tried them, please get them because they are gluing without the mess. And I tend to make a lot of mess when I glue. It's part of the fun of it, I suppose. So I'm just going to line this one up as well. Just line it up that way, as central as I can. And then same here. Get it in the middle of the dot. There we go. Oh, come on you. There we go. And then pop this one on here. Line him up again. As I say, these snowflakes line up so beautifully with each other because they're meant to. They're actually, because they're in the set together. They're designed to have all the points in all the right places. Oh, he's slightly stuck to my, oh, very stuck to my sheet. Okay, so that one, I'm just going to use glue on the very back there. Just a tiny bit in the centre there because I like, as I say, I like it to look like it's pointing, it's sticking out a little bit. Just put that in the car on the centre there of that top part. And there we go. That's the third one. So you're basically going to get you're actually going to get basically two of those. So what have I got here in this little set? I've got two of in that theme, two in with the big beautiful snowflake, and two with this smaller snowflake, and I will actually stamp a sentiment inside each of those. Cool. So that's the one sheet wonder for today. That's 6 cards out of the one sheet. Oh, Joyce, thanks for joining me. Thanks for that. What's Hannah said? I start work at 9, no accident until my... Oh, Hannah, that's a bit of a bummer. It would have been nice to have you there as well. What's Donna's? Donna's got a solution. She always does. Yeah, let's get somebody, get Mum to do it for you. Get Kathy to do it for you. She'll do it, register. Okay, so that's the 6 cards from the one set wonder. As I say, they look really nice, and I love that they've got a sort of, they're different, but you've got the same sort of theme running through them. And the best part is you haven't wasted any paper at all, except maybe that little slither of an inch across there. And I don't mind that at all. That's a piece of paper well spent. So we've got that one there. And as I say, I will do the same with our beautiful Merlot. So with this one, obviously, I will use a Merry Merlot highlight colour rather than the Tranquil Tide. Okay, so that's about all I've got happening at the moment. As I say, it's a quickie because I'm so busy in my online store at the moment you know, I haven't had much time to play with my Stampin' Up stuff. So, but that's good. Busy is good. Anyway, I'll bring back my host code. Here's my host code for November. Anyone who hasn't got a demonstrator who would like to order from me, just use that host code. As I say, I've got some very special deals at the moment for qualifying orders using that host code. Definitely jump on and grab your Snowflake Showcase because you've only got less than a week to get those now. We've got the framelits and the 2 wonderful dies stamp sets that I have featured in previous videos, so grab those. They are very special and good for all year round. If you would like to join my team, the Chatty Stampers, also give me a hoy. We've got some great stuff coming up in December as a demonstrator. We've got Celebration, and we've got the Occasions catalogue being released to demonstrators on pre-order and pre-earn in December. If you'd like a copy of those catalogues, just get onto my website and use the contact form. So much to remember. Anyway, have a nice Sunday, everybody, and I will see you later in the week. Have a great week. Don't work too hard, and I'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.